Welcome to GoldBoys Live, presented by Pickett Sports. Sleeper picks, Josh and Brad. We got a lot to do. NFL picks, reaction from last night. Brad and I are going to go head to head on a bet. I'm going to make him bet me. Hash that out. I'm going to take some of his money. So, Brad, you're working for free today. Boys, what's going on? I guess we'll just start with last night. Ended up being a pretty competitive game. Bears win at 1916, another primetime under. This is where the number matters because there were 3.5. You should have won if you were on Carolina. You should have pushed if you're on the Bears. Josh, I'll start with you. Any takeaways? What's your big takeaway from last night?
They are who we thought they were. And I don't Bryce Young, we seesaw back and forth, but like, man, I bet on the 3.5 and was like, even when it was early and I was like, God, I want to throw up watching this. I was like, this 3.5 is so live. We also bet the under, we talked about it on the show yesterday, under 13.5 for the largest lead for either team.
Yeah, that was easy.
Money. That was easy. When it was like, dude, there's going to be like barely 30 points in this game, if that. So yeah, it all worked out well if you just bet against there being good football being played.
I will say this. First, I want to talk about Miles Sanders. Poor guy. Like, I know he's working back from injury, but the under 23.5 that was talked about yesterday was plus money. Like, that just felt weird. And then I want to say, like, it's important as a bettor. If you ever are on a line and you track movement, right? Like, set your line. Basically what I'm saying. So like I set Sanders at 19.5. The line was 23.5 for under, right? Before the kickoff, the line got to 25 with no news, no coach speak or anything. So I thought that was a good situation for me to add. I think when you start doing that, it can be with sides, totals, and you start adding, or you also try to middle basically on both sides, you're going to become a more profitable bettor long term. It's not always about like, this bet looks nice. It's what it compares to my numbers. I want to say one more thing about that game. Coaching. It came down to coaching. If you're okay with taking a 59-yard field goal you run on third down, give yourself the opportunity to either go for it on fourth and short or have a 56-yard field goal or better. And then also that timeout, like it was one of those situations where what's his name? Thomas, what's his last name? The play caller. I think he is going to look back at that and it's going to be a teaching moment for himself. Like it's just a lot of mistakes in a 2-minute period when you're trying to win or tie a game.
Will Bryce Young ever be good?
I think he'll be all right. I think that we live in a society now where everyone wants you to be an expert quarterback year one, when in reality that just doesn't happen. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, we'll even go to the last generational, if you want to call Bryce Young generational talent, generational quarterback we had, Peyton Manning, threw 20-something interceptions in his first season as a quarterback. Like, and it stinks because he's always going to be compared to CJ Stroud, who's playing phenomenal, right? He's playing great football right now. But if we have to call a spade, every single wide receiver from wide receiver 1 through 3 on the Texans is better than every wide receiver on the Carolina Panthers. Even if you want to go to wide receiver 4 and Noah Brown is better than Adam Thielen in terms of being able to stretch the field, make it easier for your quarterback. Bryce is in a bad situation. I don't know if he'll ever be good in Carolina. That's how I want to answer your question, right? Like, Carolina's so far off from having weapons and protection where it could be like a 3-year project. They don't even have picks to do it,
Yeah.
Like, they have to attract guys to come in to build an offensive line. They have to attract guys or pray to God that Mingo steps up next season just to even have a wide receiver 1.
I think the receivers are the one thing you can find in the draft, like later in the draft. Like, you can find skill guys, but I think I'm generally with you. Where I'm not ready to give up on him yet. I know it hasn't been pretty, but what were you going to say, Josh?
Just no to him being good in Carolina. I mean, if they want to like wait a few years, you don't have enough to protect him. Like the problem is like what I saw last night more than anything is he can't throw under pressure. And I know that's going to be the case for most quarterbacks. They're always going to be better with time. It's just you also have to be able to like stand in the pocket, take a hit, and make a throw. And I don't know. I guess I never really saw Drew Brees get hit in the pocket like that, but like Bryce Young, as soon as he's got pressure, it's pretty scary to watch the ball sail over other dudes' heads.
There is definitely like, wow, he does look really small. It jumps off the TV how small he looks, but it is hard to grade. Like, I'm not a film guy, but I hear all the film guys like, man, this offense is archaic. Nobody can get open. Nobody can get
Yeah,
separation.
that's
So,
terrible. It's crazy like how the wide receivers cannot get separation. Like
yeah,
not even a little bit. And I think a little bit has to do with the play calling. Like the
yeah.
play design is a little bit on there. One thing I wanted to say though, everyone who what do they call them? The victory lappers who are saying Bryce Young would be a bust. Most of the guys, the Vic lappers, were saying Bryce Young would be a bust because of his size, but it's not been his size that stunk. It's been his decision making, his I don't know what's it called, like not getting the ball out quick enough,
Yeah.
not hitting his wide receivers in the right spots to make him catchable balls, like stuff that you didn't know was going to happen.
Yeah. It's interesting. So Carolina doesn't get their second win. And I don't know. Should we do? I tweeted this last night. Like, we'll bring it up on the show. We'll go into who's going to get the first pick. But I thought it was interesting. And we talked about this the other day. We got into it. I was like, quarterback wins are not everything, but they're also not nothing. And Fields has won 6 games now in 3 years. And everyone's like, oh, well, he's got a terrible team. Yeah, the team isn't good. I grant you that. But Badgent's won 2 games in a month. So my whole thing is like, these players are not that far apart. And I know, Josh, you wanted to chime in.
I think my main thing that I'll just stick with is like so he's 2-2. He's played 4 games.
Yes.
Secret agent man.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So nice win against the Panthers. Like every Bears fan I knew, that was literally, as end quote, their Super Bowl. They were like, one dude recorded the game and I talked to him in the middle of it. And he's like, don't say a fucking word. He's like, we need this. It's their picks bowl because of the pick. It was all about the pick. And in their minds, it's like, we beat them, get the pick. Right.
So they weren't trying in the other games, and they were trying last night.
No. My main point is like both situations were awesome that he won, including Josh McDaniels' final game.
I agree with that.
And not only Josh McDaniels, they played Brian Hoyer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So let's just be very clear that 2-2 in this situation, like I give him, if you let him play out another, he won't get to, but if he were to play out another like 3 to 4 games. What do you think he's going, right? And now
I don't think he's good. Yeah, I think people confuse it. Oh, you think Bajan's good? I don't think he's good. I think they both stink. That was my point. And I don't know. To me, like, you're in year 3 and you've won 6 games. That is just a huge red flag along with the other stats. That was my only point.
Yeah, you can make that point. I don't think Bajan's 2-2 record is that strong of a feather in that cap, though. Is what I'm saying.
No, but when you've only won 6 games in 3 years, and it was like, oh, who could possibly win games?
It looks good. You have certainly manipulated the stats so that it looks really good when you say it.
How did I manipulate them? I just
it sounds good when you say it like that.
Yeah, thank you. So Carolina does not get their second win. Who's going to get the first pick? Because I was texting with Brad, and this is going to be our bet. I was like, oh, you know what, Panthers? I think the Giants are going to get the first pick. We've talked about this before. I didn't bet it like an idiot. I just bet some all unders. We remember we did those preview shows, Josh, like all unders the way to go for Giants, but they baked it in. So I do have some unders, but I didn't get first pick. Brian bet it at 30-1. Giants are not winning another game, in my opinion. The Panthers have a schedule left. They play the Bucks twice. They play home versus the Packers. They play the Titans. They play the Falcons. I think the Panthers will at least get 1 win. And this is where I'm curious what you guys think. And this is where the bet came up, where Brad's like, oh, they're not beating the Bucks. I was like, I'll bet you on that. So Brad said he's not giving me odds. You're not giving me any plus money.
No.
Plus 110.
No, I don't even like betting on the Bucks enough to do that. Like
there's no odds up for that game anywhere.
That's a good point.
No, but let's see what we'd set the lines. In Tampa, 4.5 probably. On the road, if it's 4.5, the Bucks are losing that game.
No, because you guys have to look at what happens in the next 2 weeks. I think.
Yeah, well, obviously we're gonna like.
No, but I'm saying right now, if you were to like factor it into the line, right? Like if the Panthers play Dallas and Tennessee, and they're at Tennessee, they're not winning against Vrabel on the road like that. And they're not winning against Dallas.
I'm not seeing lines for it, but I mean, you're saying Tampa's going to hit a 2-team money line parlay and sweep the Panthers. I think they can beat Tampa, one of them. Do we want to throw $50 on it? I say Tampa. I say Carolina gets one of those games.
Yeah, that's cool with me.
$50 bet. All right, but so that would put.
Let's see when they get the Bucks at home. They get the Bucks at home the last game of the season. I think that's going to be really bad for you.
Wait, so Will gets the 1-1 tie.
I think. One of 2 things.
I just need to win one game I just need Carolina to beat Tampa once. I win my bet.
One of the 2 things.
So you definitely need to be coughing up odds.
I should be coughing up odds. Yeah, because you get the push.
Yeah, because you get the push. 1-1 tie. 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 1-1 tie
Yeah, but he's going to be favored in both games. Not
I'll be
big.
favored
It's
in both
probably
games.
about fair.
All
It's
right, even money's
probably.
fine.
Yeah.
All right.
What
I
do you
think
think
I'll
the
probably
lines will be, Brad? So if it's in
I think
Tampa,
4.5 at home.
I think you get the
And then
big deal.
last game of the
4.5 might be a little
season,
light. 4.5 might be a little not a lot light,
Yeah.
but like I don't know,
Yeah.
5.5.
maybe
Not that
maybe
big
5.5.
If they put that in the dead
Um,
zone, oh man, who's betting on that?
Yeah, and
And
then
then-
what? 2 or it won't be 3 in Carolina, right? Tampa by
No.
2.
Tampa by 2.
So you
Let's
get
see
my
how many-
point. That's very possible, and you were very bold in text, like, oh, they're not winning the game. They could beat Tampa one of those games.
Tampa's probably going to be coming off back-to-back losses against the Panthers in the last game of the season.
Yeah, and look, Packers, Titans, Falcons. So Carolina's probably going to win another game or two and get out of the pick. So we think it's probably going to be what, Giants with the first pick in the draft.
It's going to be Giants, man. Tommy DeVito
Crazy.
is playing quarterback.
I mean,
Oh,
Matt
no,
Barkley's
wait.
going to be in before long.
Right? Like, how
Don't
long?
you just leave Barkley in to just tank and get the pick? I know coaches don't always think like that, but isn't that
But I
probably
thought-
the way
matter
to
who
go?
you
I
leave
thought
in.
DeVito was more of a tank.
DeVito's more of a tank. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
they're
DeVito,
both taking.
yeah, but DeVito is like, man, he shouldn't even be on an NFL field. Barkley's at least like been an NFL quarterback. I know he's a little
Yeah.
older now.
Was
but
that
Barkley,
you, or was that my other buddy who I texted about the about the DeVito situation? Where like, I want to give you your flowers if you said it, because I thought it was a good statement. Where like, when you have guys like DeVito on the roster of these third string rookie quarterbacks, they just have them low salary guys to just fill out their rosters. Like, there was never an intention that DeVito was ever going to play, which makes total sense. Like, you get down to your third string quarterback, like, you're in pretty dire situation.
and of course, hit us up with the chats. John Smith says, "Damn, Brad's back." Josh feeling himself a little for this little hot streak. Yes, that is nothing new to the show. Josh is not afraid to mention his winners. That is true.
I mean,
losers do not get the losers don't get mentioned as much.
No,
but the
no,
winners
no.
do get
Come on,
mentioned.
come on.
Come on, what?
Let's be fair. Like I definitely come in with a sourpuss face, making very clear when I lost.
I
know
heard
what I mean?
2 winners mentioned today. I don't know if you mentioned.
Maybe it's just
any
tough to
losers.
remember losers. I guess that's a really good point.
Yes. Speaking of losers, I had under 7.5 in the first quarter last night. Scoreless, 5.5 minutes to go. I get a punt return touchdown. I'm still fine. It's only 7 points. They somehow get a quick field goal. I started watching basketball or something. All of a sudden they're in field goal range. And I lost that one. That was brutal. Giants are plus 380 to get the worst record. Is that not the bet here?
That's the bet, right?
FanDuel?
Like, who's going to have a better record than them? I mean, a worse
Panthers
record.
plus 175, Cardinals plus 200.
Sorry, did you guys make a bet?
I think what, $50, Brad?
$50.
He's got Tampa to sweep Carolina.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Copy.
Yep. Man, how do we not bet Giants plus 380, right?
But damn, this Cardinals schedule.
First pick.
This
What's that,
Cardinals.
Josh?
The bet is first pick for Giants is plus 380.
Yeah. It's framed odds worst regular season record. So if they both win with like 2 games, you get like I think a plus 190 payout in the dead heat.
Okay.
That's actually really good.
That's a
sexy.
good bet. I don't like talk me out of making that bet.
I'm trying to fit. Let me look at Giants' schedule real quick, because like I'm trying to see like if they're going to be in a situation playing a good team late.
Like
Well,
unless they
I just
play
told
Northwestern
them.
or Iowa or something, they're not winning any games. I don't care who they play.
Like they play the Eagles the last game of the season, you know?
Meaning like what, the Eagles might not need the game.
Yeah, that'd be the only.
The Eagles cheerleaders might beat the Giants at this point.
That's true.
They do play the Patriots, but again, you got Commanders, you got Patriots, you got Packers, you got Saints. So these Rams. So I guess they could win another game. Just
I can actually.
Stafford doesn't come back.
No.
I can actually bet these with you guys now. I can actually bet these with you now.
You have that market.
Okay, first of all, Will,
man, this is so great.
Let's be very clear, Will. If you jump on that Giants worst record, I would really just like to piggyback on that with you, and then I'll hit you with it.
What do you have, Brad? What book and what odds do you have?
Hard Rock has it. My odds aren't as good, but let's see.
So funny that Hard
Worst record plus 275 for Giants.
That's not
plus 180.
Yeah, that's a full dollar under.
Full dollars. But it's just nice to at least be able to know I have the option.
Right. Like especially plus 275, there's a good chance they split the worst record, and then you're really like you're hurting your payout even more. So you got to get the 380. I think we should probably bet this even small. What do you guys want on this if we do it, or do you want to just do it through text?
Yeah. Yes.
Man.
Okay. Yeah. NFL picks this week. What do you guys like? What do you have? Start wherever you want to go, Brad.
I want to get your opinion.
Yes.
Because we talked about this yesterday. What happened to my NFL picks? Okay, I know the line. It's is the Ravens plus 6.5 a good teaser piece? Not Ravens, Browns, excuse me.
Oh, Brown 6.5.
Yeah.
No, I only tease when it's through 3 and 7. I'm boring with it. I don't know. I feel like you're wasting key numbers when like the
True.
11s, the 12. So, and I think there's a possibility they get blown out. Watson has not looked the part to me. So,
With a total of
no.
38.
I know.
Years,
I know. Why not just, if you think it's going to be close, just take where you're thinking, oh, if I lose by 10, you cover yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Baltimore in the game, so I'm not with it. What did you bet though? What's your best bet in terms of side total, spread, whatever you want to throw out there?
I didn't put anything down yet, but there was one that I was going to get in. Oh, wait, what am I talking about? Was Dallas Dallas minus 17 and then Giants team total under 10.5.
Wow, I got both of those. Yeah. It's moved up to 17. I've been saying all week, look, I just don't know how the Giants score here. I don't know how they score unless it's a fumble return or a pick six. Like this is just not a professional team right now. And Dallas is a front runner too. They love to beat up on these bad teams and they love to play them ahead.
Okay, good. Yeah, if we feel that good, because Dak is always prone for the interception and the pick six and the whatever. But I don't know. You start this Giants team on like the 50 every drive, and I still think that I would take under 10.5.
Yep. So, what do you got, Josh?
For the card on the
NFL, anything? Yeah.
Let me pull this up. So for NFL at this point, I'm really liking the Bengals still. I got them at 6.5. I think, is that still where it's at? I don't want to get.
I think there's some 6.5, some 7s.
Should be some 6.5s.
It's a little bit of a tricky spot with.
I get it.
They play the Ravens next
week.
What
I like, yes, the Ravens thing scares me. What I like about it is the situation of them getting the Texans coming off of that. That's what I like. Yeah, you can still get 6.5. It's minus 108 at DraftKings. The Texans coming in on their side, like they are getting a little bit healthier on defense, but that's the least of my worries when it comes to the Bengals' ability to score at this point. Higgins and Young are a little bit banged up and questionable-ish, which is why I think you keep this still under 7, because both of them are. And I think you expect at this point, like worst case, I think you expect one of them to play, but there is a possibility neither of them do. Even if that's the case,
that's just like such a letdown spot, though. It's just.
For the Texans or the
Texans.
That's what I'm saying. They just came off of a wild ass game.
And we'll say this, like the Bucks, I don't understand what happened from year over year, but they can't pressure the quarterback. 5th worst pressure rate for that defensive line in the NFL. Maybe just age. They just getting older.
Yeah, they definitely lost a few guys, but.
Yeah, but not enough to where I'm like, man, they just can't pressure it's not like they're bottom half. They're like 5th worst. Like that is freaking awful.
Well, yeah, that's part of my thing with the Bengals is they were 3rd worst against the pass, and they've come all the way back to the middle of the pack, back to around 15th in defensive DVOA. So you can run on them, and tight ends can score on them for sure. That's like where they're weakest, but they're still much better than they were, like I said. So, and they play good teams in the last like 3 or 4 weeks. So. I'm with them. The another side that I'm trying to take here is like I don't. There's no more 2.5s for the Lions. I think the 3 is going to be 3.5 by like Sunday morning. Does that sound wrong?
I don't know if you're saying the line's going to go up. Lions by 3.5. It already hit 3. That 3 is such a key number. I feel like you get pros taking the Chargers.
Yeah, if it's 3.5, I would take
lose so many close games. Yeah. If you're betting, like the people that already bet, like if you wanted to bet the Lions, you had all week to bet 1, 1.5, 2. I just feel like there's not going to be that many people in there. You might be right though, and again, it helps to have a lot of books because who knows, you might see a 3.5 pop up. That's interesting. It's ugly. Green Bay getting 3.5. Can Pittsburgh and Pickett be laying 3.5 to anybody? To me, that's just another ugly Tomlin like 20-17 type of game. A game we saw like last night where a 3.5 is valuable. Tomlin's good as a dog. He's good off of a loss, but he's off of a win. He's favored here. He's not an underdog.
I actually like the Steelers. I like the Steelers.
Interesting. Their numbers stink. That surprises me because their numbers stink. Not that Green Bay's numbers are much better, but to me, these are just two kind of these are just two bad teams.
Yeah.
Two bad offensive teams. The Steelers can handle their own on defense.
Yeah, that's what I think is like our advantage. Like the Packers played the Rams last week. Won 20-3, but it wasn't like a 20-3 that was something to write home about. I think they kind of come back down and play even more tough defense. They're not going to get a short field. I think there were 2 turnovers by the Rams in that game too. Like I just think that the Steelers defense is going to be tough, especially like being at home against the Packers.
I revert to last week. I don't think there's much of a letdown for it. I understand what you're saying too, Will, where it's like the value on a Tomlin team is always in the like muck when he's just a dog, and it's just up to him to take this game and turn it upside down in the way that he wants to. But like this is actually a little bit more of a similar game and situation to last week, where you could have said the same thing. A lot of sharps were on Titans, even at, like under 3. They were taking Titans like plus 2.5, and they got it all the way down from 3.5 at times, because everyone was like Will Levis, this and that. And really like they shut him down as well. I think Jordan Love's going to get shut the hell down.
Yeah.
They're banged up as well. In terms of the Christian Watson is still super banged up, the whole wide receiver core for them. So I would rather take the Steelers at the -3, because I mean, he's, like I said, he covered the 4 last week, did the Tomlin team in this situation with a similar young, crappy quarterback, in my opinion. Will Levis is probably better than Jordan Love too, by the way. So I get what you're saying. I just don't think it's enough for me to bet on the Packers, and 3 or less. I take the Steelers.
I'm so sick of this Will Levis love, and it's just, let me just take this out on you, Josh, for 1 second.
You think Jordan Love is better than Will Levis?
Yes, and
okay.
Listen, Will Levis had a great first game, but we got to remember the passes that he was making because they were loading the box to stop Derrick Henry. Like, no young quarterback is getting that kind of good situation, to be a okay quarterback.
Henry stinks now, doesn't he? Though
they still load the box for him. Which is like, it makes quarterbacking a lot easier. It makes you look a lot better. It takes a lot less pressure out when you're facing a stacked box as a quarterback. So I don't think I think we're just a little too early on praising Will Levis. Great situation. Could be a good quarterback. We'll see.
Pittsburgh, I mean, this is only one stat, but yards per play allowed. Pittsburgh 25th in the league, 5.5 yards per play. So their defense, I think their defense has a reputation of like being this really good defense. They're ball hawking. They have a habit of getting turnovers. I don't know that they're great on defense, though. I don't think they are. They're okay. I think their secondary can throw it on them. I don't know. Look, it's not
secondary young. That's why, young secondary makes it tougher. But like, you're like, okay, you're saying they can throw on them, but like, who are they throwing to?
I know.
That's where we start to get. That's where we started getting.
I mean, it's just a numbers play at 3.5. I can't lay 3.5 with this crap.
Oh, I thought it was 3.
Offense. There's
you can get 3.
There.
You can
3
also get
120. Yep.
Yeah,
and that's obviously a key number.
And also, I'm not betting it. I was just saying that I would prefer it at 3.
You're laying a little extra vig, as some people would say, on the 3.5. Anything else you guys like?
Had a few props.
49ers Jags is a great game. I don't know what to
I'm
do
gonna
with
love
that game.
that game, dude.
I have another prop that I liked.
Sure.
Sure.
Daniel Carlson over 1.5 field goals. Jets are like number 1 in field goals allowed for
field
a game.
Goal man.
Indoor, an indoor stadium. Aiden O'Connell's going to do. I think Aiden O'Connell's going to do enough to move the ball, right? Like, but he's not going to be a quarterback. He's not going to be a quarterback to complete drives with a lot of touchdowns. So.
What's the Jets kicker too? The Jets kicker might. Oh, they didn't just sign. That might be one too, where like the Jets, they're not the same thing. They're not good enough to finish drives, but that's a field goal game. Both coaches are probably somewhat conservative. So yeah, field goals might be an interesting one.
There was one more kicker prop that I leaned. I don't know if the number moved, so I didn't want to give it out, but it was the Falcons. Young Wei Koo over 6.5 kicking points. He hit it last week too. He's hit it in almost every single game. 2 field goals and a touchdown.
All right, what do you got, Josh?
For the props there, I was considering Will Levis over, but I am going to go with the DeAndre Hopkins one. I am taking the over 16.5 yards for him. It's a bit of a boomer bust play, but his air yards are freaking insane. And he got 11 targets last week. He ended at the 60 number. I think there was a 59.5 before the show started. Probably still stale at this point, but the 60.5, I'm still taking. The air yards combined with the targets is like, you got to hit 3 of these for him to get over his number. His receptions are at 4.5. Yeah, I think it's a good play. I think they will be able to connect against the Bucs secondary. They're going to get funneled that way too, with the Bucs just crowding the box in this one the way that they do. Second against the rush.
Boy, that is a game I want.
CMC is going to break the record, right? Like, he's going to get in the end zone, by the way, which I know it's the record, like the record. Nobody gives a shit of consecutive touchdowns until Kyle Shanahan decided. Nobody that anybody's heard of. That's a big part of it. I mean, nobody that I've heard of, and
Who is it?
Knowledge.
Yeah,
I don't know.
is
I
it?
don't know his name. When they
Shit.
when they brought it up on screen when I saw it in the last game, they scored a touchdown and they were like Len Ellers, and I was like, I don't fucking know who
Is
that
it Len
old white-
Ellers?
Biased?
Is
No.
Len Ellers a real person?
I don't know. I don't think so. I thought you made it seem like it was a real person. I'm gonna try to
Because
look this up.
insert
What do I even
old
Google
white
for
dude
this?
tight end name.
I thought it was Jerry Rice. This is what it says on here. Stat Muse. Is that wrong?
17 in a row is Jerry Rice. Never heard of him.
Oh no, that's the most. No, the most games with a touchdown.
That's what I'm saying. It's someone who was a doctor in the offseason. I'm telling you.
Most consecutive games with a touchdown in the
Lenny Moore. I was so close.
Okay.
Let's go. Toy Story sucks.
Lenny
Awful
Moore.
name, bro. But like, thank you for the help.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that guy must.
Tell me Lenny Moore wasn't also like I'm saying a plumber in the offseason.
Yeah,
right?
this must have been when they were playing with leather helmets.
Yeah, thank you. So anyway,
you guys are
like,
gonna sit here and disrespect Lenny Moore. I'm not gonna
That's
fucking
true.
take it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, man. Some of these games I want nothing to do with.
Lenny
Titans,
doesn't deserve
Bucks.
straight.
Oh, that's gross. Cardinals, Falcons. Can you imagine somebody sitting there watching Cardinals, Falcons without a bet on it? Oh, some of these games, some of these quarterbacks.
I don't know if I
1956 is when he started with the Baltimore Colts.
Yeah, of course, as we all know. Buffalo
Also
down
played at
-7
Penn State.
against Denver.
No.
Yeah, that's a Monday night game, so I'll have time
Wow.
for that. We can pivot before we get out of here. Any NBA, college, Brad? I know
Yeah,
you're
let's
probably
go to
some
NBA.
college, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, I'm going to NBA first. I'm taking Anthony Edwards, 30 plus points, plus 145 against the San Antonio Spurs. Ant-Man's averaging 27.5 points per game, shooting 51%. Why I like it to 30 instead of just playing his base at 26.5, which is juiced, and that's gross. But also because the Spurs play with the 5th most pace in the NBA, giving more opportunities for Ant-Man. Better matchup. Top 6 in points allowed to the point guard as well for the Spurs. So that's Ant-Man 30 plus points, plus 145. And we did hit a plus 500 yesterday, viewers. Hopefully you guys tailed that. Benedict Mather and 20 plus points. And they didn't. I'm so mad that I couldn't got that 15 plus for plus 300. Like that was the most sweat-free 15 plus I have ever seen in it. That like whoever hit that line and moved it, they probably put their entire bank account on it. Their entire bankroll. Like for it to move down to 130, 140, like that had to have been some sharp better had to, or a group had to like smash that line.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, because it was a public line. Yeah, I'm with it. Man, like the Spurs are such an enigma to me. Not that they're not going to give up a ton of points, just like are they going to also play really well? They've beaten the Suns twice was a weird thing, and then getting just smacked by the Knicks was also kind of weird. I don't know what that. I didn't look at the OKC line when it came out. I hit it last night because it was wrong. It was -2.5. It was plus 2.5 OKC against the Kings when there was no way De'Aaron Fox was going to play. You just had to follow like a beat writer for Sacramento to know that, which I do. So like I immediately hit it. I hit it a couple times. I don't know what it's at right now. If anybody can pull it up real quick.
-2 last time.
-2 the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Because what I said last night when I did a podcast about this was if it opens at under -3, I'm still taking the Thunder. I'm going to hit it all day right this morning. It's probably going to move to 4 at some point. Like this Kings team is awful without D Fox, man. I've never seen a team go from 125 points per game to 102 in like a legit sample size. It's bananas. So
they were a regression candidate too because they were so healthy last year. They had pretty good luck in close games for them, from what I remember too. And sometimes you just assume like these young teams, they take one step forward one year, they're automatically going to take another step forward the next year. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that.
Yeah,
the one that jumps off the page. How about Clippers Mavs total 235.5? My goodness. That
feels like a lot to you.
Are all these plays? I mean, it's just that jumps off the page. I can remember.
See, I don't know how to handicap the playing games correctly in terms of like defensive motivation. Right?
I don't think anybody cares about it that way, to be honest. Yeah.
John says, can we talk about the Herder situation? What was it? He said, "I don't care about your parlays," or somebody said, "I don't care about your parlays."
Malik Monk.
Monk said it. And then,
great. But then I think someone doubled down on it too, and like coach.
And then it was Herder who said, respectfully,
"This is the best. This is the best."
Davion Mitchell.
JD quote tweeted it. Davion Mitchell quote tweeted Malik Monk and said some other shit like, "Yeah, don't stop talking about your betting." And this dude, the top comment was, "Bro, you suck. I bet on you one time because I thought you were Donovan Mitchell. You suck."
That's funny. That is funny.
One guy,
I thought you were Donovan Mitchell. You suck.
I like Brian versus the Books where he said he was like, "Herder, you're a 3-point shooter shooting 28.6% from 3."
I thought that was somebody else. That was Ryan Prop, but yeah, that was funny. So what's?
Ryan Props. Yeah.
What was the Herder situation though? How is that
Same
Herder?
thing. They were
Okay.
just reposting it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I want to ask you guys some questions though.
Yeah, I'll just start slanging some bets whenever you want them to.
Yeah. Let me just ask some NBA questions. Obviously, we got to take LaMelo Ball, right? Like pace is high, but you can't take plus 30 for plus 120, right? And obviously, it's a good spot for Kyle Kuzma, but you can't take plus 30 for plus 180. Like these they're not the kind of guys who you want to be betting those kind of short odds. Do we pivot to Jordan Poole 30 plus 650? I think he's only had 30 plus one time so far this season, right? But Kyle Kuzma, when they played the Hornets last time, ate them alive. And then they tried to kind of not transition, but like adjust at halftime to where Kuzma wasn't eating them up alive enough. And Jordan Poole started scoring more, but he just wasn't as efficient to get to his even baseline of 21 and a half. Do we take Poole thinking that the Hornets will try to stop Kuzma again because Kuzma is who's hurt them?
Josh, that's all you, man.
Oh man, all I know about Jordan Poole is it's a disaster right now.
Wait, but did you see the tweet he came out with?
I did not.
And also not the tweet, the interview also made me like kind of want to take this even more. It's plus 650. Like I'm not asking you to take like a minus 200, but Jordan Poole said he's glad that he's playing with the Wizards. Now he has his own basketball team, can play his brand of basketball. Like this tweet, this quote came out today. I think he comes out in balls.
Might.
The problem is not, it's always when you take these plus things, you want opportunity. He's gonna be able to jack up 20 plus shots.
So yeah, and more shots because they will be focused on other players.
On Kyle Kuzma, because Kyle Kuzma could have dropped 40 on him if he tried a little harder in the second half. That's where I just get at.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Of all, I think there's 9 games or a little more tonight, whatever it is. Like, man, I did not look at that one.
All right, one more question before you roll up.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to be honest with you. I can start making something up, but
no, that's cool. There's one more I wanted to ask. Where was it?
That's like literally the only game. I even looked at the Pistons and the 76ers because I've taken Kelly Oubre over in that game. I'm even considering a Embiid under big time. Like Detroit guard centers, he's probably got a 48.5 PRA in this one. 46.
Okay, you ready? All right. Do we take Kyrie tonight with the claw on Luka?
I thought about it. I don't really know who's on. I mean, it could be Kawhi. I'm no longer scared of Kawhi's defensive prowess in the regular season of a game, to be honest. Luka goes the fuck off against the Clippers.
Yeah, he has killed them.
Yeah, he does.
I think he's at like 37 a game in his last 4 against them, which is like actually also what I think he's averaging on the season, or he might be down to 36. He sucks, but he's unreal, man. I don't think he was.
Kyrie sucked. Kyrie sucked too, right?
What's Kyrie's prop that you're talking about? Is it like 21?
35 plus is 6-1 for Kyrie if you really want to in a game with a high total.
Yeah, I was talking about Kyrie 30 plus. It was 5.5 to 1 or
5.5 to 1.
And plus 240 at DK for 30.
If you believe in this high total,
I put a little bit on it.
I
don't 4.5 to 1.
I guess if you're going to get right on offense, then you would want to play the Mavs. But the Mavs, if Derek Lively plays, they're not that bad at defense. And the Clippers offense is
horrible.
It's a pile of mud. Like, it is awful.
I haven't watched Harden. I know he hasn't played well for them. How has he looked?
Nobody has as a result of Harden being out there.
It's actually funny. Like, we should be betting on Clippers players against the Mavs. But, like.
Which one?
There's no.
Paul George.
No
by the way. It's Paul George is the one, I think, because he's the one that maintained his volume.
Consistency or good player that we want to bet on,
Yeah, no, I don't want to have to bet on any of those dudes. Like, bet on Luka. The over is weird to me when, like I said, this pace and offensive rating for the Clippers in the 3 games that they've had these dudes, it's atrocious. I actually have it right here. I don't know why I'm not just reading it. In the 3 games since he's been there. 103 offensive rating, 21 assists to 16 turnovers a game, 27th in rebound percentage, a minus 22 net rating in the 4th quarter of all 3 games. Let me know when you want me to stop.
Damn.
It is bad. Like I watched some of it and I bet the other team both games, the Knicks and the Nets. I was like, great, give me the Nets a money line at like plus 145. Same thing for this game. I'm still Mavs -2. Great. Awesome. Like Luka's going to torch them and they're not going to be able to hang. So that's why the total for me is a scary over for sure. 'Cause
Luka
I don't know if
loves
they're gonna be
destroying
there.
them. Like, I feel like we should just be betting on Luka.
I think it
The
should be the
problem
under.
is always so hard to bet on,
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we bounce?
Yeah, I was trying to pull up the line. There's one thing, but go ahead, Josh. Rattle off
I'm
your
still
bet.
going under on this Memphis-Utah game. It opened at 234, immediately got bet down. There's still 230s out there. I would take under 230.5 for sure. I would bet it down to 228. They're in Memphis. Utah is way better at home. They play at a way faster pace at home. This game is at open at 234.5 because the last game with these two teams that was like a week ago was at 235. And that was because it was in Utah. Once again, Jordan Clarkson sucks on the road. I would take an under on his points, rebounds, and assists too. But and then the other thing I was attacking is I did look at that Pistons and Sixers game. I'm going over for Oscar Thompson. I got plus money on his 7.5 boards. It's probably around like -110ish right now. Still think it's worth it. And the 20.5 points and rebounds. That's my favorite one. It's close to even money as well, because he is also going to get a ton of minutes. The last 3 games, he's played 37.5 minutes. He's still going to be without Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks, Joe Harris, Jaden Ivey, Monty Morris, all missing again for the 3rd straight game. So that means minutes and usage are up for Osser. Pogo Sticks, really solid nickname for Osser. And then if you like Kelly Oubre, Tsunami Papi, also, if he's still at 13.5, I'd even play up to 14.5 points for him because his minutes are up to 30 as well. 17.5 points per game, 21% usage. And I think things are going to get funneled out with Detroit's top 5 defense against centers and against the paint. That means Joel is going to be doubled, and that means maybe some assists for him. Shout out Brian versus the books. And then also that means Kelly Oubre being the beneficiary of a lot of those assists.
You can also, I also like Porzingis.
The Zinger.
Rebounds.
That's going to be a blowout, man. No Cam Thomas. I think the Celtics are going to wipe the floor with the Nets.
Let's see. One question for you. Not one question, one bet for you, college football. So the line moved a little bit, so it's not as juicy. Georgia -14.5 against Ole Miss. I would actually pivot to -19.5 at +200 against Ole Miss. Game played between the hedges. I actually think Georgia wins this game by 16. Obviously the -9.5 and 10s are gone for if you want to bet Georgia. I think them playing Missouri last week and Missouri scoring first was all of the chalkboard material they needed about slow starts. Ole Miss offensively are good, right? They have Lane Kiffin, but with Judkins, I think they're actually going to want to run the ball more with Judkins, right? Try to get Judkins going. Don't let the secondary change the landscape of the game, which ultimately I think their defense is not going to be able to hold up enough throughout the entire game, which I like the alt lines there. I think they win the game. I think they win the game by 16, right? 16, 17, but at +200 to get 19.5 is better than paying +145 for them to win by 15.
All right. Well, that should about do it. Good show. We covered a lot. NBA, college. This was fun. Enjoy the games. Josh, Brad, appreciate you guys. Good luck with all your plays. Chat was good. So enjoy the weekend. Monday, noon Eastern. We'll be back. See you guys then. Thank you to Pickett, Sleeper. Enjoy the weekend.